Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head up to Ellon in Aberdeenshire in Scotland, which many of you might happen to know is home to Brewdog, and we've got the fourth and, if I'm not mistaken, final instalment of the Hammerhead series today. Basically special versions of the Jackhammer beer where they've changed the malt base. So today we're having a taste of the Rye Hammer, Ruthless Rye IPA apparently. It comes in at 7.2%. And it should be quite nice, this one. I enjoyed the Monk Hammer and the Black Hammer. The Chili Hammer, I have to admit, wasn't so much to my taste. I'm not a great fan of chili beers, I have to admit, but it was certainly better than the Neon Overlord that they released at the same time. But this one should be quite good. Brewdog do have a good record in my experience when it comes to rye beers. The Albino Squid Assassin being the main one that springs to mind, and the barrel-aged version of that, of course, was really quite nice. So definitely looking forward to this one. Should be quite an interesting beer for us to try, and I hope you guys enjoy the review. So yeah, anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other Brewdog reviews I've done before. There's about 100 or so of them there, so make sure you check those out. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel. The whole channel has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers and things like that from different countries. There is a Scottish one there that you can check out, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries you guys would like to see me review. Always interesting to hear from you guys, and your support of the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Brewdog then. So Brewdog were founded by two guys, James Watt and Martin Dickey, back in 2007, and their first brewery was a very small one in the Keswick Industrial Estate in Fraserburgh in the very northeast corner of Scotland, right on the tip of the monster's nose, as I always like to say. But more recently they moved their main brewing operation down to Ellon in Aberdeenshire, which is a bit closer to the city of Aberdeen, where I used to study chemistry, of course. And they do have a second brewery over in Columbus, Ohio these days. I think they have finished work on it now. But these guys are known for being a very experimental brewery, and they were known for a time for their their strong beers as well. They held the title of World's Strongest Beer on 3 separate occasions, and they have just released the Hop Shot as well, a quadruple IPA at 22%. That's one that I definitely need to check out. But they're largely inspired by the kind of American craft beer boom that was going on in California, and these days they've got several brew pubs, or just pubs throughout the UK, I guess you would say. These started opening in 2010 in Aberdeen. I was there on the opening night for that first one. They've got a second one up there now, but since then they spread down into Edinburgh and Glasgow throughout the rest of the UK, and then they're away over to Tokyo now. There's one in Sao Paulo in Brazil, and they are kind of constantly expanding that network. They're all throughout Europe these days, so that there's quite a lot of options for you guys if you want to try Brewdog beer. But in recent times they've actually started distilling as well. They've actually got a distillery called Lone Wolf Distillery, and you will see whiskies released fairly soon, but I think they've actually produced some gins out of it so far. So if you ever see Lone Wolf Distillery, that is one of the Brewdog products. But if you're a business graduate as well, these guys can be quite an interesting company to read about, because a lot of their infrastructure developments were crowdfunded. They've got their Equity for Punks scheme where you can buy into the company, and this is what they've used to kind of fund their second brewery, fund new tanks and fund new pubs and all of this sort of thing. So they are a largely crowd-funded brewery, in fact, so it's really kind of quite interesting actually. They've really been quite entrepreneurial with it, and they're producing some pretty good beer as well. So yeah, quite an interesting brewery to read about. If you want to see the other beers and things you can get from Brewdog, just check out the link in the description below, like I said, or you can have a look at the other reviews I've done from them. So yeah, that's enough about Brewdog just now. We'll get on to the tasting of this beer itself. So like I said to you, this guy is a 7.2% rye IPA. It's hopped with Amarillo, Centennial, Citra, Columbus and Simcoe, with extra pale malts and rye. And like I said, this is the fourth in the Hammerhead series after the Monk Hammer, Black Hammer and Chili Hammer. Basically special versions of the Jackhammer beer where they've changed the malt base. So on the back of this one it says, Jackhammer has been single-handedly ripping up for quite some time. Now the definitive bitter and twisted IPA has spawned 4 Hammerhead offsprings. Rye Hammer is the 4th of our supercharged, hyped-up hybrids. Rye and American hops unite in an agricultural superpower. A grapefruit harvest of citrus melts away to sticky roasted caramel and rye warmth, all resting on a malted backbone. Then Hammerhead's trademark bitter finish reasserts its authority. Catch the Rye Hammer, a bittersweet protagonist. At Brewdog we brew uncompromising beer, and that's the usual kind of stuff there. It just talks about that, but it's the top bit you're interested in when it comes to this beer itself. So as you can see, a nice little 330ml can. I'll just bring up the camera again to let you see that. You can see it's the same artwork pretty much as was on the other ones. One thing I always find interesting about the Brewdog cans, they do have the Nordic pant on top of them, but I've never actually seen these cans available in Systembolaget over in Sweden. Maybe they're available in Norway or Denmark, of course. Probably in Denmark rather than Norway, but kind of nicely presented, the typical Brewdog style of artwork. So without further ado then, let's get this guy open and we'll get on with the tasting. So yeah, as you would expect from this beer, really quite nice pale golden straw colour. You can smell some of the nice kind of oranges and almost citra fruits coming out of this one as you pour it. But it should be very nice, this beer. I've heard good things about this one. A lot of folk I know didn't like the Chili Hammer or the Neon Overlord so much, but they've said that this beer is pretty good, so definitely looking forward to this one. As you can see, it's poured a really kind of bright goldeny yellow colour. There's a few little bits of sediment floating around on this one, just very small particles. If I put my fingers behind the glass, you can see that it is pretty much a transparent beer. There is a little bit of haziness to it, or opacity I guess you would say, and there's a solid finger and a half of a frothy white head on this one. It's not even creamy or anything, it's a kind of almost perfect white head actually, but a really quite lovely looking beer, this one. There's one or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass and quite a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of the head there. It looks really nice, so let's have a closer look at the aroma then. Yeah, you know, it does just remind me of Jackhammer, to be honest. It's got that typical kind of tropical fruit note that you expect from Brewdog. Yeah, so I mean with this one, you've got a good little bit of orangey citrus for me. You can pick that out right away. Some nice juicy oranges. There's a little bit of grapefruit in there, but that kind of takes a bit of a back seat. Passion fruit, of course, coming out from the Simcoe. Definitely that. The oranges are from the Amarillo, of course. And you can pick up a little bit of the sort of lychee, or not quite gooseberry notes, but you can pick up these kind of lighter notes that you expect from the citra, the light kind of juicy tropical fruits. You can definitely pick that up in here. But there's a nice little bit of caramel character underneath. It smells a little bit toasted. And when you sugar the beer up, you really can get some of the sort of rye, the more rye bready notes out of this beer. It does smell really nice actually. I can't really remember how this compares to the Jackhammer itself though. The hoppy character obviously is the same, but with a malt base, that's where it's going to differ. I remember it just, you know, Jackhammer just being an absolute blast of hops when you smelt that beer. But really quite nice smelling beer, this one. So enjoy the aroma a little bit before you get stuck in. I do love how the oranges and the kind of caramel and biscuit and things in this is going together. There's a little bit of that sort of rye bready malt underneath, like I said. But as I always say, just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of your beers before you get stuck in. That's always the kind of experience with whiskey or with craft beer. Just enjoy the aroma a little bit before you try them. So let's get stuck into this beer then. This is the Rye Hammer, the fourth in the Hammerhead series from Brewdog up in Ellon in Aberdeenshire. Slàinte. That's pretty nice. Say that straight away, that is a pretty nice beer. Yeah, that is really pretty good actually. I'm just trying to remember how it compares to the kind of normal Jackhammer actually, but I tell you something, when you taste this beer first, it really does just kind of come across to you as a straight up kind of West Coast IPA, but then as the flavour progresses, the rye on this one is really coming out in the aftertaste more than anything. Yeah, no, this is a really quite nice beer, this one. I'm not sure if I'd say this is maybe the best of the Hammerheads, but it's certainly really quite good. You know, I'd have to have all four of them together to kind of decide which one was the best, or maybe 3 out of the 4. I guess you can gather which one I would maybe leave out. But they're all different within their own right, and I do like it when Brewdog do things like this. You know, they've got the Ace of Hops series where they showcase the hops. They had the Unleash the Yeast series too. They had all of these sorts of things. The one that showed you the Russian dolls, where it showed you the impact of the malt to hops ratio, basically. And it's really interesting to try this one as well, where basically they've taken the hop profile the same hop profile. I think the one in the Chili Hammer was different, right enough, but they've taken the same hop profile and used it in 3 or 4 different beers and just changed the malt base and showed you how this can really affect the beer. But this is really nice. I can see what they mean with this one. The rye on this beer, as I always say, sugar the beer around your palate a little bit before you kind of start analysing the flavour too much. But this really is nice, you know, you've got the light kind of bready malt base there, and as the flavour progresses, you really do get that kind of warmer character coming out from the rye. There's a nice caramel and biscuity sweetness to it right in the middle of the palate too. It's the malt base in this one really is quite well done. Yeah, that's definitely nice, this one. I would certainly drink this again. I'd love to try it on tap and just see how that kind of rye and caramel sweetness comes out on with the slightly thicker mouthfeel that you'll get from the tap or the keg conditioning. But really quite nice beer. So the hops are kind of as you'd expect. In the back corners of the palate and on the sides, you're getting this slightly kind of pine resinous character and some of the slightly floral, spicy, aromatic character. I can't speak in this review. But you're getting that nice big spicy floral aromaticity on the sides of your palate, and as you go around the front curve of the tongue, that's where you're getting some of the lighter grassy notes from this beer. And then when you go behind the front curve of the palate, that of course is where you're getting the little oily bubble, where the kind of nice fruity juicy esters start to come out of the beer. It really is nicely done. Yeah, so you've got the kind of grapefruit just underpinning this beer, and but that is quite minimal though. For me, it's more the oranges that are coming out and the passion fruits that are sticking there. The grapefruit starts to come out just a little bit later on, that kind of typical dark and quite strong grapefruit flavour. Initially though, as I say, you get a little bit of that, but then it's oranges and passion fruit, and then the grapefruit starts to push its way out and sit with a kind of floral aromaticity and pine resins as you move later into the flavour of this beer. But it's really nicely done, and all the flavours go together quite well. That grapefruity character and the slightly kind of spicy floralness and the pine resins, they go really well together with the what do you call it, with the nice kind of malty warmth from this one, from the rye. But another kind of really quite solid beer, this one from Brewdog. I guess out of the 3, I mean, Chili Hammer, like I said, was one that I didn't kind of enjoy so much. Chili beers just don't really hit the spot for me. Some people really like them, but for me, I kind of prefer. I don't really like the sort of spicy character that they have, to be honest. But with this one, it's definitely in there with the other 3. It really just is interesting to think how these beers are different. I really like the Black Hammer, of course. I really enjoyed how that one came out. It was beautiful on tap, actually, when I tried it. And the Monk Hammer, of course, a Belgian IPA, is a style of beer that I really enjoy. The Rye Hammer is one that's a little bit different. I guess when it comes to rye IPAs, I do need to make an effort to try more of these, because I haven't tried this anywhere near the same amount as I have of Belgian or black IPAs. So this is a style that I really enjoy, but I do need to get more into. But this is a cracking effort from Brewdog, and like I've said on a couple of the other ones, I do think 2016 has been a fairly kind of decent and very strong year for Brewdog. Actually, if you compare it to 2015, you know, the beers they were doing were alright, but I do think the ones that they produced in 2016 were better than the ones in the previous year. And of course there will be more coming out this year that we can talk about as well, but this is a 2016 beer. But really nice, you know, if you enjoy your IPAs to have that nice kind of floral bitterness, a bit of the pine resin character, like a bit of grapefruit too, you will enjoy this beer simply for the hop profile. But if you like a nice slightly kind of grainy and sort of warming malt base in this one, this is another one that really is going to hit the spot for you. But basically this is another well done beer from Brewdog. So in terms of the mouthfeel, this one, I'd say this one is kind of mid-bodied. Actually got quite an oily mouthfeel more than anything. The carbonation is moderate. It's, you know, it does the job quite nicely. There's a good bit of hoppy bitterness to this. The malt base has a bit of sweetness, but mainly it's got that kind of almost kind of toasty, grainy character that you typically get with rye. It's got that nice kind of warming feel to it. Some sweetness in the middle, like I said, hoppy bitterness around the edges of your tongue, and some juicy, fruity character. But overall, another really quite nice beer from Brewdog. One that I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink again. And like I said, I do think it would kind of benefit a little bit from being on tap and just having that slightly thicker mouthfeel. This would make an interesting cask beer as well, actually, but I don't know if Brewdog ever will do that. There obviously is issues when it comes to education of staff in pubs and things about how to condition beer, but this one is really nice, and if you get the chance, I would recommend that you try it. So yeah, hopefully this isn't the last of the Jackhammer beers. I do have a feeling it was. I think the plan for them was to release 4 of them. Maybe they will experiment with it a bit more and try different things, so we'll see in the future. But a really quite nice beer from Brewdog. Give it a chance, or give it a try if you get the chance to. So yeah, as always, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Make sure you check out my social media, of course, as well. And as always, do support your local craft breweries and try lots of nice craft beer. And I'll catch you very soon with more Brewdog reviews. I've got the Ace of Citra and the Ace of Equinox reviews coming up for you, so stay tuned for those. And of course, you will have more of the 2017 beers from Brewdog coming out very soon. Slanger just now.